Hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. We're so lucky to have Michelle here to go over simple video marketing strategies with us. Just to introduce myself, I am Kelsey Bishop. I am the Director of Member Engagement and Communications here at the AGC, and we work directly with Michelle on our We Build Utah campaign. So, well, I'll just let Michelle take it from here. If you guys have any questions during the middle, please feel free to speak up or put them in the chat and we'll get them answered as you send them our way. Michelle?
Awesome. Hey, it's so great to be with you. For those of you who joined us last year, we did a few of these marketing trainings as well. And today we thought it would be a good idea to just go through video. Video seems to be such a big part of social media platforms and can be a really effective marketing tool. So, but I'd love to hear, I can't see your faces because we're in webinar mode, but I can see you on the chat if you send a message or through question and answer. So I'd love to know who's here. If you could pop in the chat and just tell me your name and the company that you're from and the role that you play within the organization that you work for or represent. So I can kind of get an idea if we've got marketing people on, if we've got owners on, interns, whatever that might be. Whoever you are, we're glad that you're here. So you're in the right place. And we're excited to share this as part of, for members of the AGC so that you can grow and build your businesses utilizing really what is now a very cost-effective marketing strategy. For those of you who are new to me, if this is your first marketing webinar with the AGC, my name is Michelle McCullough. I'm the CEO of an organization called Dreamboard Media. We work like Hitch. So if you try to go find our website, you won't find it, but 100% of our business comes from repeat customers or referrals. And we do video marketing and digital marketing on all levels, including video marketing and public relations for organizations all over the country. We have a lot of clients in Utah, which is where we're based as well. But we do have clients in a variety of places. And so I'm here, as Kelsey mentioned, I am managing the We Build Utah campaign with the AGC to help get that out to key audiences and to share the message of the We Build Utah kind of movement. It's not just a campaign. It is more of a message that we want to share with the construction industry and with the community as a whole. And Kelsey, if you're still there, it looks like the chat feature is disabled. If that's something that you can enable, great. If not, we can work through the question and answer functionality as well. No big deal.
I think I got the chat fixed.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. Thank you so much. Technology is our friend, except for when settings are crazy. So thanks to Kelsey for kind of working through a couple of technology issues this morning. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive in. And like Kelsey said, if you have any questions, feel free to share them throughout. There will also be time at the end where I can answer questions, but we'd love to hear what company you're with and share that in the chat. And you're welcome to put questions in the question and answer as we go along so that we can answer them for you as we go, especially if we're in the middle of something. And we'd love to be able to just help you today. And I also would love to have you share in the chat box, are you currently using video marketing right now within your organization? And if so, how? So you can throw that into the chat box as well. It's fun to see who's here. Hi, Kate and Spencer and Jacob and Erica. And I know there's a couple of others, but thank you so much for the time that you're spending today. And we honor you for the ways that you're working to grow and to build your business as well. So before we really dive into what video is, I want to share with you a little thought on marketing. So this is a definition that I use with my clients. This is the work that we do. And that marketing is a trifecta. It's getting the right messages to the right masses through the right mediums. And it's something that you work on together with all three of them. And marketing is not just the outlets that you choose. And so people say to me all the time, well, I'm on Facebook and does that work for me? And that's only evaluating 1/3 actually of the equation. There's so much more to marketing than that. And so as you think about your marketing and for your company and your organization and where you are and what you're doing, what are the right messages for your organization? Who are your right target markets and masses? And what are the right mediums for you and your business? And I know that in the construction world, it kind of works a little bit differently because sometimes it's not about who's the best marketer. It's about the bidding process and filling out proposals and RFPs. And so it's a little bit different. However, each of you do still have a responsibility to share your brand with the world and to help them understand who you are and what you do. And it goes way beyond the companies that you just work with. And we'll talk about your key audiences in just a minute. But as you start to think about marketing in this way, hopefully it will help you establish a plan and a system that where video fits within this kind of framework. Because marketing is not just sharing the right messages to the right masses through the right mediums. It's so you can make money. And there are a lot of companies out there that spend a lot of time, quote unquote, doing marketing, but it doesn't help them grow and build their business because they're either using the wrong messages or using the wrong mediums or not targeting the right markets. And I don't call that marketing if that's the case. I call that wasting your time. So a lot of marketing is about measuring. And we'll talk today a little bit about how you measure results with your videos and how you know what's working, what's not working, so that you can make tweaks and changes and move in the right direction for your businesses. So before we talk about video, let's talk a little bit about who your key audiences are. And they're all going to be a little bit different. Some of you work only in government. Some of you work in commercial and government. Some of you work in different mediums as well. But then you have other audiences that are listening to your messages above and beyond who is purchasing from you. And so one of the best ways to use social media right now is to identify who those key audiences are, because it's not just the people that you're doing business with. It's the people that you're hiring, the people that work in your organization. They're a key audience. And as they feel connected to you, as a brand and a company, they're more likely to stay. And I know that right now in the construction industry, there is a workforce shortage, and every organization is trying to do everything they can to retain and recruit top talent and to keep people for a long time. And so social media and video is actually a good way to communicate to that audience of the people that work with you. And especially what we're trying to do with the We Build Utah campaign, to share the message that construction isn't just a job, that it is a community, and it is necessary, and there's pride in the things that you build and the things that you do. And so as the AGC works towards sharing this message, we know that you have your own messages as well. And we're not saying you have to always talk about We Build Utah, but this is something that you can join in on as a way to share with your audiences, especially within your organization, what it means to build Utah and why they would want to do that, and how you can do that through video as well. So as you think about your key audiences, both your external audiences and your internal audiences, think about how video can fit and mix. And I know some of you are already doing video. I know that and it's probably working great. I would love for you to share what kinds of videos are working. If you have consistency with them, if you like produce a video every single week, you're welcome to drop that in the chat. But sometimes it can feel really confusing, and how to get connected and what are the right outlets and how do you decide what to do. And so we're going to first start with why video is an important part of marketing right now, and how you as an organization can make video a priority because you understand the why. This is also really good for those of you who are working in a marketing position and you need to get approval to do things from the managers and the team or the board or the C-level executives above you who may be apprehensive about investing in video. These are some of the things that you can share with them so that you can be more strategic in your conversations. And you probably know all of this. I mean, I'm looking at who's here, and you're doing this work. You're marketing managers, you're marketing coordinators, and even marketing directors. And so I'm sure that you're familiar with this, but just so that you know, you have someone else who's on your side should you need to share it. And if you haven't gotten there yet because your business has done it in other ways, then this will just give you a good insider look about why we use video and why it's important today in today's marketing landscape. So the first and foremost is that there really is no other medium that can share a message better than a video. You can create pictures and put out and coordinated graphics, and we still do that as part of the We Build Utah campaign. We do want there to be a brand and an element around the AGC. They still put out graphics as well. But you can say so much more in a video than you can say in a picture. And it's like, if a picture is worth 1,000 words, how many words is a video worth? And it's just, it will be better be able to increase connection. I really wanted my video to work so that you could see me, not because I'm going to wow anyone with my background or my outfit today, but just because that sense of connection will make it a lot easier for you and I to share the time together today. And that's the same with video online. So as you think about that, know that while it's easier, it is to just create a graphic and put it up. No medium can share a message better than video, and it's worth the effort and the time. And we'll show you some of the things that we've done with our campaign and some of the results that we've had that have been quite impressive, and why we use it as well. But number two, and this is almost one of the most important ones, is almost every platform is putting emphasis on video, which means that all of the social media platforms have algorithms. YouTube has an algorithm as well in terms of what the video is. And constantly, their number one goal with their algorithm in the social media platform is to keep people on the platform for as long as possible. And right now, because video is so hot and people are watching videos, they are weighing videos heavier in almost every platform. The only one that's not right now is LinkedIn. And we can talk about LinkedIn a little bit if anybody has questions, or if you're using LinkedIn right now, it would be interesting to chat about how you're utilizing it within your organization. But almost every platform, because of that emphasis on video, they're going to weigh a video that you put out more than a graphic. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that you should stop and abandon all graphics, because there's still a place for them. And that doesn't mean that you need to ignore any other parts of the social media platform that you're on. But just know that every video will be weighted heavier in the algorithm and will do better in the algorithm because of that type of content. And that can be helpful to know. And sometimes when we're balancing, we will put out a reel, and as it does really well, and we know there's a graphic that has to go out, we'll do the graphic right after it, because we've built out the algorithm and the health of the page, and people are seeing that we like the content. And so the graphic will do better after a really healthy reel on Instagram, or a video on Facebook. Facebook is leaning towards reels too, but it kind of depends on the outlets that you play on the most. And so one of the things that I'd love for you to share in the chat box is, what social media platforms are you prioritizing in your organization, so that I can see and kind of tailor some of these conversations about specific videos. What social media platforms are you using? Maybe you're on all of them, maybe you only use one or two, but it's good to know as we talk about video that almost every platform is saying, hey, we're going to show more videos because we know people will stay on our platform longer if that's the case. And the third reason, and I just kind of plug this in here, is it's actually easier than ever to create video content now. Even 5 years ago, you really needed a videographer to do justice. And now most of us have cellular devices that will produce high quality video, even for business purposes. Now, there can be a benefit of going in. There can be a benefit of going into a studio from time to time, or even hiring a videographer. But if you're just getting started, use what you have. And we'll talk about equipment in just a little bit, but the technology that's available right in your hand is actually quite amazing and easier than ever. And for some people, it's a matter of spending $20 to get a good tripod or a decent stand, and then you can use the technology that you have right there. So as you think about why video, now I'm going to share with you some questions that you can use strategically. And if you want to take a picture of the screen, you're welcome to, or if you just want to do a screenshot, whatever it is. But these are the kinds of questions that you should be asking within your organization about video. What video strategy is right for my stage of business? Knowing that every business, if you're a small business, it might be a simpler strategy. If you're a bigger business, you might have bigger resources and the ability to be able to do more. But don't let I love the quote by Brendan Burchard that says, "Don't let your small business make you small-minded." So if you're on this call and you're thinking, well, I can't do something as big as XYZ organization, they have lots of marketing strategists and I'm only able to do little things. That's okay. Don't discredit a video strategy altogether. Just ask yourself what kind of strategy you can do. Maybe it's simply one reel or one TikTok a week, and that's all you do. Maybe you kind of grow with it and you figure out how to do it, and you just do it kind of sporadically for a little bit while you're figuring it out, and then you create some consistency. If you're a bigger organization, you probably already have some sort of video strategy, which is great. It's just a good opportunity to revisit it. I recommend every organization looks at their video strategy every 6 months. There should be a main strategy that's set at the beginning of the year, along with the rest of your marketing structure. But every 6 months, you look at it because of the way the social media landscape changes. And so you just want to look at and see what's working, what's not working. Even 12 months ago, Reels weren't as big on Instagram and Facebook as they are right now. And their efforts to compete with TikTok have been strategic and have tried to go as quickly as possible. But they launched on Instagram first, they came to Facebook second. And now even in the last 6 months, YouTube has started doing YouTube shorts. And so those same type of videos that you can see on TikTok or Facebook and Instagram can also be used on vertically on YouTube. But if you're only creating a video strategy every 12 months, then you'll miss some of those pieces. So it's just a good idea to sit and revisit it and say, okay, what should we do? Do we want to grow and expand? And you'll also learn from me, if you've watched some of our previous social media webinars, one of the things I really care about is having you focus. If you have an organization that is able to do 5 or 6 different types of social media platforms because you have somebody who can do it full-time or multiple people who are doing it full-time, that's great. If you're just a one-man band, then I recommend that you focus in 1 or 2 outlets. That's it. Not trying to be everywhere all the time. Social media, so much of social media is about building a sense of community and connection, that if you're trying to spread yourself too thin, then you will miss the ability to be able to go deep. I love the quote by Tiffany Peterson that says, I would rather have one 100-foot deep well than 100 1-foot deep wells. And that's just a great illustration for social media. If you spread yourself too thin, you're not going to be able to get the depth that you need to in that platform. But if you are able to go deep into some specific platforms, then you'll be able to not just build a connection with your audience, but you'll know the platform so well that you'll understand the nuances. You'll understand the times of day that are right for you and your business. You'll know the kinds of content that your audience is responding to, so you can create that good content. If you're looking at it from a bird's eye view far away, you can look at it from a strategic standpoint, which is great, but you're not necessarily in what that platform can do. So just think about the level and where you are in your business and what you can do right now. I don't feel like you should burn the candle at both ends in an effort to try to be everywhere. So be strategic and be in the right places at the right time for you and your business. At the second question that's important that you can see here is, what kind of consistency can we commit to? What does that look like? And we'll go a little bit deeper into consistency in a minute, because there are, of course, I would love to say, and with my clients, we try really hard to be consistent about and saying, hey, we're going to do this every week. We're going to have this number of posts go out every month. We're going to do these things, because that's what consistency rules. Consistency is also a key player in every social media algorithm. If you post once and then you don't post again for another 10 days, and then you don't post it again for another 5 days, and then you don't post again for another 50 days, the algorithm is not going to favor your content because it's inconsistent. So consistency isn't just good for you and your strategy, but it's good for the outlets, and it's good for your audience to see you as consistently as possible. So choosing a consistency that matches, again, without pushing you too far in what you're trying to create, will actually help you be more strategic, and your posts will do better. And then ask yourself the question, what kind of videos best share our messages to our masses? So if video is the medium, and you go back to the marketing definition that we talked about earlier, if video is the medium, what kind of video is the right that will get your messages out to your masses? And these are questions that we ask at the AGC. These are questions that we ask for We Build Utah. And we're in our second year of this campaign, and we're doing different kinds of videos now than when we started because of the way things changed. When we started in beginning of 2021 and even at the beginning of 2020, we were doing only horizontal video for YouTube and social media. And we did this great campaign. It's still there and available if you want to see it. We invited people to come in and share their We Build Utah story, why they're in construction, what they love about what they do. And they were just quick little vignettes that we could put up on YouTube, but we also shared them on Instagram, and we shared them on Facebook as well. And then this year, we've really been working on short form video content and primarily focusing on Instagram. And we have similar videos, but again, all of these videos that you see here on the right that we did, that you see a human. There's some other ones that we've done for other projects, of course, but the ones where you see a human, these were all videos that I shot on my phone camera at the convention in January. We just pulled people aside, asked them questions, had them tell us stories, and some of them have done really, really well. We've got this one that has 1,600. We've got this one that has 2,000. They all end up in the hundreds a little bit, which is great. We're not even seeing that much traction on graphics in our platform. And so it's great to see these reels do, but I was sifting through it again later because I just snapped this snapshot to put it in. And we actually have some from the very beginning that have over 4,000 views, which is more followers than we even have on Instagram. And so here's the other thing that I want to share with you about video. As you answer some of these questions, and as you think about what messages are best to share to your masses, one of my favorite elements of the We Build Utah campaign is hearing people's stories and having people share how they got into the industry, what they like about what they do, why they stay, what they are doing, because that will help those who see those messages feel a greater sense of connection. It will work towards employee engagement and retention. And it allows us to feature people in a way that helps other people feel like, hey, I want to do that. And when we took these videos and we had people, we featured them, some of them went ahead and shared them. So in addition to getting the messages out in a very human and real way within our own campaign, some of them went in and took pride, and then they shared them to their own platforms. Now we encourage them to share so that they can have this messaging and this type of content that they didn't have to pay for, and they're welcome to share it on their platforms. But that's called aggregate marketing. And so as you start thinking about using video in your business, how can you feature your employees? How can you share their stories and their messages? How can you get them to be involved and engaged? Because they're going to love not just being featured, because that'll help them feel connected to the organization. It'll help them feel appreciated. But what it will also do is give them an opportunity to share it and take pride. And then when they share it with their organization, it becomes an aggregate message, because it's not just what the followers that you have in your organization. It then gets shared to another group above and beyond who you could possibly reach. So building a sense of human video elements into your video campaigns will also help you expand and share your messages, especially as others feel inclined to share and to be part of that and to take pride in that as well. But as you can see, like, the videos are doing really well for social media content comparative to the other things. And so we're continuing to do that. And initially we just started, and we were just testing what's working, what's not working, how frequently should we post them, is there a specific day of the week? And then we got consistent and said, okay, we're going to do them every day of the week. We're going to do them once a week at least. And sometimes they're not on the same days, and that's on purpose. It's consistently once a week, but it's because we know different people are active on different days, and some people aren't there all the time. And so we could say, hey, we're going to drop them every Monday. And for some businesses, that would be the right thing to do. But sometimes we drop them on different days so that we're getting in front of other people, but we're strategic about it, and we're caring about how we're getting those messages out there based off of what's right for our organization, and what's right for the messages, and what's right for the masses, and what's right for the application that we're on. Sadly, there's no hard and fast rule about, hey, video should be posted on this day, and hey, this is when they get the best traction. And that's something that you just need to test and figure out within your own organization, and seeing which ones do the best on which days. But as you look at these questions, you'll better be able to make those decisions for your specific and unique needs and for your specific and unique goals as well. So in terms of consistency, and I've kind of spoken to this a little bit, but there's really two ways to be consistent: sporadic, but strategic, and scheduled, and strategic. So like I talked about, we are scheduled and strategic to a certain extent, but we started by being sporadic and testing and seeing what worked and what didn't work and what needed to change. And then we also have opportunities to be scheduled, even though they're not sporadic anymore. So we're still keeping with that same platform, but you can decide within your organization what is right for you, because it doesn't necessarily have to be every Tuesday, every Monday in order for it to work and be effective. But you still want to make sure there's strategy to it, and you still want to figure out what to do. And when in doubt, one of the things that I recommend is that you create a bunch of videos up front, and then you don't have to be a slave to when you can get the next video again. So it was super helpful that we were able to grab a bunch of people in one sitting at convention to get the kind of videos that we wanted. And then we took some time to create them the way that we wanted. And now we have a backlog that are available for us to roll out over time. We just did another video shoot, invited some other people in. We're doing them in a batch. And then we can be strategic and we can be consistent because we already have them ready to go. So if you're just getting started and you're not exactly sure, record 5 or 6 videos, save them and use them, and then drip them out over time, and then record another 5 or 6 videos. And that will help you stay consistent, because you're not saying, oh no, I got to go record another video again. Whatever it is that you can do. I'm a big fan in my business. And for those that I work with, on creating daily, weekly, and monthly tasks. Marketing, when treated like a to-do list, doesn't stay as strategic as recognizing the consistent efforts that are required to share your messages over time. So as you create your consistency, also create a strategy of your daily tasks, your weekly tasks, your monthly tasks. And then you know that you're going to do those things consistently. And even if there are one-off projects that come here and there, I know that happens. I know that exists. And there are some things that will work as a checkbox. That said, most of the things that you do will work more effectively as you create daily, weekly, and monthly lists. And so monthly, are you going to record? And then weekly, you're going to put them out and schedule them. And then daily, maybe you go in and just check and see how they're doing and interact with any comments there are. You create, again, the kind of systems that you want, but the systems that you create in your business and in your marketing strategies will help you stay on top of creating the kind of strategic approach that you want. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in. I'm going to share with you some frequently asked questions that we get when we're talking about video strategy to our clients. And maybe this will help answer some of your questions, but maybe it will also bring up some others. So what kind of equipment do you need? Yes, if you are a larger organization, you might even have a videographer on staff. And when you do that, you will have high-end equipment, high-end cameras, maybe even a light kit. If you're just getting started, even if you're a large organization, start with what you have and grow from there. If you're a small company, don't let technology hold you back. Use what you have and grow from there. And one of the things that I recommend is that if you, let's say, for example, video hasn't been a priority, you've been super busy and you know you need to do it, but you're also on some older technology and you're not sure if the quality of your phone will actually produce good enough videos. I recommend starting with what you have right now, but then making sure that you use a theme or a type of video that matches. So for example, we had a customer who was just getting started and she was worried because she was on an older version of the phone. And what we did is we just created a campaign that made it feel a little bit more behind the scenes. So instead of it being staged videos and stand-up videos, she was using her phone and she was just saying, hey, today we're talking behind the scenes. I just wanted to share with you a little bit about what's happening here today. And she would interview employees by having her phone out and showing both of them in the camera, but she positioned it specifically like a behind the scenes. Anyone can do that. And that's also great when you are featuring projects that you're working on different. If you're on different construction sites, you can say, hey, walk with me. We're going to go and we're going to see this. And yeah, it's going to be a little bit bumpy and it's not necessarily going to be perfect, but it's going to feel very real. And so don't worry if your technology you feel like is a little bit old. Just make sure that you create something that you feel like matches what you're offering. If you're trying to say, hey, we're doing professional in-office videos and you're using old cameras, that may or may not work for you. And so, especially if you're trying to do it by yourself, but sometimes what you have right here with a stand can do all kinds of things and improve and increase the quality just by having a stand. And so if you don't have a stand right now, get one on Amazon. Again, you can get pretty good ones for 20 bucks until it comes in the mail. Don't hold back. Find a way to position your phone and get started. So do what you have now. And then as your business grows and as your video strategy grows, feel free to grow and expand. Of course, we use a videographer, and of course we have expensive equipment now, but we didn't start that way. And I don't recommend clients start that way either, depending on where they are in their organization. How long should videos be? This is another great question that we get. It totally depends on the platform. For the videos that the horizontal videos on the We Build Utah stories, we did those somewhere in the minute to 2 minute range. We wanted them to be quick and easy to watch and easy to consume. We also wanted people to stay with us and to follow us. And sometimes when you just have people talking, that doesn't happen as easily. So we weren't going in the 4 or 5 minute department, but we stayed within that 1 to 2 minutes. Now that we're doing reels and short form video for vertical video as well, we are doing those shorter. So they're about 30 seconds and sometimes less. They're just quick little messages because we want somebody to sit and consume the entire message. And the goal is just to stop the scroll. So depending on the platform that you're on or your goals or what it is that you're trying to do, it may be different. If you're creating a commercial like feel, you might want 30 seconds. If you are doing informational videos that are important, maybe you're doing day in the life videos, that might be closer to 2 or 3 minutes. So it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish and where you want to go. There really isn't a hard and fast rule. However, I will say, watch the trends in the platform. So when we're making decisions about how long videos should be, I'm looking at trends and things that I can find online and also on the platform website, because sometimes Instagram will tell you, hey, the average reel is XYZ number of length. On TikTok, they'll say, hey, the average length is X. And so when you stay within some of those averages, sometimes you tend to do a little bit better. That said, that doesn't mean that there aren't people who are going viral by bucking trends and doing longer videos. So videos should be as long as they are entertaining and engaging, and just know when that limit is. And when in doubt, send it to someone and have them say, hey, what do you think about this? Is it too long? Tell me the point at which you're bored. And I've done that before too, with little focus groups where I've said, okay, hey, I'm going to have you watch this video. Raise your hand when you're bored. And some people are raising their hands at 8 seconds in. I know, okay, this video's got to get shorter. So just play with that a little bit, but that's also something that you can test. It wouldn't work now for us to do the same We Build Utah story reels in longer format like we did before. The 1 minute videos wouldn't work on Instagram, but they probably will still work on YouTube. And so we're still creating both types of content because we know which types of content work in different platforms. And so hopefully that's helpful to you. But again, just this is another one of those things that if you play with it, you'll probably be able to figure out the right things for you and your business. And then another frequently asked question that we get is, which social media platform is the best for video? This is tricky. And for me, it's kind of like choosing which kid is your favorite, because each social media platform has different opportunities and different feels and different audiences. And you have to choose the social media platforms that are right for you. I saw in the chat that a lot of you are on Facebook and Instagram. Some of you are even doing TikTok and LinkedIn, like we talked about, and maybe even trying to use Twitter. I still love Twitter. My first social media platform was Twitter, and we built a decent following there, and we continue to engage in that audience. However, I don't necessarily recommend it for people getting started, depending on what they're doing. However, Twitter is continuing to stay relevant, and it's actually one of the platforms where people stay the longest, and because it's so easy to consume the content. So again, you have to make the decisions that are right for you and your business and where you want to play. but you make decisions on social media platforms based off of your audiences. So don't choose social media platforms just because people have that, because, oh, they have so many videos that are going, or they have this many people who act monthly active users. Well, that's great if they're not your monthly active users. So choose your mediums specifically based off of where your audiences are. And again, your audiences are your customers and vendors, not vendors, but customers, people who are paying you, and clients. But then your internal audiences, like your employees or potential employees and potential recruits. So that might be a different platform. Maybe you talk corporate messaging on LinkedIn, but then you talk employee-based relations on Instagram and TikTok if you decided that. I'm not saying that you have to do that. I'm just saying think through your audiences and know where your audiences are, because that is really the most important decision that you can make when it comes to deciding which social media platforms to be on. Now, Jacob asked a question in the chat. He said he's curious about Twitter post frequency. Twitter is one of those platforms you can actually post more frequently. In fact, they say that of the top Twitter accounts, they're posting upwards of 10 to 20 times a day. That's a lot. And so I don't necessarily know if there are businesses that can keep up with that, with all the other things that they have going on. However, if you were strategic about how you created it and you were prepared to do it in a day, it actually would be possible. You can even schedule those tweets out using Hootsuite or another social media scheduling platform that works. And so you could do it that many. However, what I will say is this is another great thing to test. Do 3 or 4 at a time and see how that works in a day. Do 5 or 6 and see if you see an increase in engagement. And then if you can get up to 10 and that works for you, great. But with any platform, and Twitter is included, consistency matters more than the quantity. So if you're going to be the kind of people who post twice a day on Twitter and you can consistently do that, and you're engaging with the audiences, and it's not just getting on the platform and posting and then walking away, then you can probably get by with less. But that's a great thing to check. It's a great question. Thanks, Jacob. And Kelsey also put some things about video kits, like a gimbal, and the iVlog smartphone video kit is also available there if you want to go and check that out. There is also another piece for those of you who are just getting started in video, but you know you want to do a little bit more. There is a small, it's almost like the size of a phone, even smaller. It's called a Pocket 2 Creator. This is a $500 camera, which is a little bit more, but it's actually cheaper than a phone. And I'll show this picture, though you won't get a great one, but if you would like, I can share the link with Kelsey. This is a small handheld, and it does some of the, most phones now do this too. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but if I create a video on this phone and it's a little shaky, there's actually a video stabilizer that is now in as part of this update. So I can create kind of a shaky video, and then it actually levels it out for me, which is great. The DJI Pocket Creator Combo does something similar. So if you know you're going to get into it and you don't want to spend $2,000 on a camera, this could actually be a good choice for you walking around projects that are uneven. And that could just be another something. But those are great options too, that Kelsey mentioned in there as well when we're talking about equipment. Sorry, I didn't see that on the equipment one. Thanks for sharing that, Kelsey. So here are those are some of the frequently asked questions. If you have others, again, pop them in the chat. I'm happy to answer them for you. But I want to share with you a couple of things about how to create a video strategy, and also some tips and ideas about types of content that I think will work really well for you. I recommend that you sit down by yourself or with your team and create a video strategy that says, hey, we're going to create this many videos a week. Our primary video outlet is this. Our secondary video outlet is that, because you can dual use the videos in some cases. But then ask yourself strategic questions like, who is going to upload the videos to the secondary sources? Who is going to upload videos or other content to your website if you're going to dual use that content? And that's one thing that we really love to do. So we create a video, and that video will go in at least one platform, but often 2 or 3 social media platforms. Then those videos get put onto our website as a blog post. So we're getting additional traction on our website. And we're not talking about websites today, but website consistency and uploading to your website frequently also helps the search engine algorithms, so that you can be featured and seen. And so that's another great way. Videos. So dual use your content across multiple platforms. Use video on social media, use it on your website, put it in other places so that you can see that one piece of content as an asset in your business and in your marketing as well. Now, after you've sat down to do this strategy, I recommend that you go into, and maybe in a future video, a future webinar, we will talk more about content themes and how to create content themes so that you can make it really easy for you. But for now, here are some tips and some content ideas specifically for the construction industry that I recommend and that you can utilize now. Obviously, feature your projects. You can share everything from the groundbreaking to the completion and to everything that's happening in between. We've seen some cool videos being shared where somebody is taking a picture at the same place every single day at the same time. And then those pictures are being put together into a video. That can take some time, but it could be really fun for people to see the progress. But you can do project announcements, you can do locations, and you can say, here's what was here before. A then and now are some of my favorites. I actually put that down at the bottom, but I love anything with projects, and projects are great. And those are probably the things that you're doing as well. So I know that I'm not giving you information that you don't already know, but keep doing project work. Employee features and employee stories are great. Again, it helps them feel connected to the organization. There's a chance that they will share it for aggregate marketing. But it will just also add a human element to your business and your organization so that when people see your content, they see you championing your employees and they feel like that's an organization that they want to be part of. Create social media contests. Encourage your crews and your team members to share social media content and to share it on their platforms. And so if you get them to be an extension of your social media and they become social media evangelists for you, then they're doing work again in that aggregate marketing space that you don't have that audience that works. And so if you can come up with social media contests, videos are a great way to do that. And however you want to authorize it in safe and natural and non-time consuming ways, maybe you could tell these are just ideas, brainstorming here. And maybe you could tell your teams, hey, do a 10-second clip. Then you know they're not going to spend a ton of time getting lots of B-roll and going around the site. Just say 10 seconds, 10-second Tuesday. Again, just ideas. And have them take a 10-second video of the projects that they're working on, what they're doing for that day, and have them share it. Create your own hashtag for your own organization or have them tag your organization so that you can see it. You can always encourage them to use the hashtag WeBuildUtah because then it comes into the bigger message. And then there are some that we share through the AGC as well. But create the parameters, tell them what it is, tell them what they need to tag, what they need to say, and then do your own contests. Let them share what they're doing. Let them share what they love about working in the industry because they are prime to be able to share with their friends, hey, I love what I do. And so if you can get them to take that pride in their work and to share about it online, then it will also lead to other conversations about, hey, where do you work? Do you like where you work? Come work for us. And so social media contests can be a great way to share that message as well. You can, as an organization, share tips, share construction tips, share project tips, share employment tips, share office tips, whatever it is. There are lots of different tips and strategies that you could share with the world. 3 ways to work better with your construction company. 4 questions you should ask your contractor when you're visiting the site. 3 things you need to know before you break ground. So there's lots of just different ways you could take expertise and turn that into valuable content. And whether that's vertical content or horizontal content, short form content, or even longer, any of these can work in any type of video format. They're just ideas to help you get started. Also focus on your company and even the industry as a whole. I love the then and nows. I love somebody taking a picture of saying, hey, this is a building that was here 20 years ago, and now it's becoming this and it's growing and expanding, or even longer. Hey, 50 years ago, we did this. Especially if you have longevity in the industry, share that because that's an important message that your key audiences care about and the things that they want to see and do. And it can be an effective way to share your company story. You can also do the then and nows with employees. If you have an employee who started as a laborer and now is a CFO, share some of those stories because they share the longevity of working in the industry. And if you have people who are just getting started, champion them as well. Share their stories because they're just as valuable. And so there are ways that you can leverage those who are just getting started and those who've been with you for decades. And those stories will matter in the industry, and they'll matter for employee engagement and retention as well. I talked more about these and features and stories because I wanted to feature on them and talk about them for you. But I also wanted to share with you some of the things that we're doing within the We Build Utah campaign, especially for this month. This month of September is We Build Utah Education and Schools. And so we're talking a lot about the buildings that are being built, but also talking about education. We're talking about the AEC Pathways program. We're talking about intern programs. We're talking about people getting started. And you're welcome to participate in this as well. You can always share anything that you're sharing and use the We Build Utah hashtag. If you ever want to pop in with our themes, we pick a theme each month to focus so that we're sharing with our audiences, hey, here's what we do. And what I love about what we're doing this month is it's not just about the schools, it's about the education. And we've done other months that it's like we build Utah careers, we build Utah futures. Yeah, we build Utah buildings, but it's more than that. It's more than the things that we build. It's the people that we interact with. And so you're welcome to share yours. We would love for you to share your school projects. We would love for you to share the ways that you're educating your teams and your audiences, and use the We Build Utah hashtag. We've got contests going every month. We pick winners. And so we'd love for you to share, and then we can feature some of them as well. But you can also share your own messages or come up with your own themes that match within your audience. And if you are just getting started and you are wondering how to manage social media with everything else that's going on, if you go to agc-utah.org and click on the We Build Utah banner, in the navigation, there is a whole section for you that have a bunch of templates. There are templates that are ready to go. You can download them. You can add your logo so that they have your branding on them. Some of the templates, we have stripped away the AGC logo. They do still have the We Build Utah logo on them, but you can add your company and your organization to them. If you're also looking for ways to supplement, maybe you're, as an organization, you can only post a certain number of times in a month. If you had other graphics that were ready for you and ready to go, you can go find them. And you know what? They can be different months and different themes. Just because we said We Build Utah Education this month, it doesn't mean you couldn't do that next month, or even take the ones that we did from last year and use them this year. And you can choose different times for different things. So we've tried to make it really easy for you to be part of the We Build Utah campaign and to share it within, where appropriate, within your organizations. And if you want to do more and do some of your own, you're welcome to do that as well. But we've got some of those resources that are available for you. One quick thing that I want to end with as we go, and I just want to share a little bit with you about how we measure results and how you as an organization can track if your social media and your video are working. I shared with you when I showed you that we've been doing reels and how well they're doing. We're looking at those numbers regularly. We're seeing what's working and what's not working. And yeah, we had some videos that did 4,000. That's great. But our average is somewhere between 300 to 1,500. So I wanted to show you those averages because that's a little bit more consistent about the results that we're getting. And yes, when there are the ones that do the 4,000 or the 5,000, we're thrilled with that and happy that the message is getting out and getting shared. But how do you track? Because a lot of social media is about a process of measuring results, rinsing away what doesn't work, and repeating and doing what does, and maybe even adding some new things in there. But you can track things like sales, website traffic, email list growth, in addition to the social influence. And social influence will be everything like if your followers are increasing and what numbers you're getting and how many views you're getting. And those are great. Those are great metrics, but I want you to also track what happens next. Do you have more people who are applying for jobs? Are you getting more inquiries? Are you seeing more traffic to your website? And are you growing your email list? And some organizations do that and some of them don't, but that's one thing that we track as well for some of our clients, because email list growth can be an important part of your marketing as well. But just simply ask yourself these 3 questions. What's working with our videos right now? what's not working with our videos, and what needs to change. And then ask these questions monthly, either individually if you're a team and party of one, or if you work together with others. Ask what's working, what's not working, what needs to change. And these questions help you stay strategic. They help you stay focused and effective, and they help you decide where to best spend and utilize your time. If you find that you're just not getting traction in a platform and you've tried lots of different things, if there you need to ask yourself the question again, go back, what are the messages I'm sharing? What are the mediums and what are the masses? Am I targeting the right audience? I see a lot of people who are on platforms and then they're like, well, I'm not doing very well there. And the reality is they're really not targeting the right market on those platforms, which is why they're not getting traction. It's not hitting the right people. They're not getting the right people to watch their messages. And that's how they know that it just isn't working. So as you're tracking things, track the messages, track the mediums, and make sure that you're in alignment with your target market. If you needed just some place to get started on social influence, you can track your follows, likes, comments, shares, and you can chat and check hashtags and how many people are using hashtags, especially if you create some of your own for your own organization. We keep this on a simple spreadsheet. It's super easy. We just have the date, and then I have an assistant or an intern go in and put, hey, here are how many follows we got this month. Here's how many likes we got this month. Here's how many comments. Here's how many shares. And here's how many uses of the hashtag. And we just keep track of those elements so that we can see what's working and what's not working. And whenever anyone asks, we can share with them what they do. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, we hope for you that your sales will increase. We hope that your projects will be in alignment with what you do. And some of these other metrics may not matter as much as sales. But I also hope that you're tracking employment and working on utilizing social media for engagement and retention, because I know that that can be a really effective and strategic way to utilize and use social media as well. So if you're going deeper, looking into your hiring rates and keeping track of how many employees did you retain month over month, what kind of engagement did you have with your employees, however you track that, and what number of referrals that you're getting from your organization, and then even utilizing things like employee satisfaction surveys where appropriate, and however you keep a handle on your team and staff and crews, those are a great thing. Those are great things to check and track. Now, before we go, our time is about running out. Thank you so much for your time and for your presence today. I hope that you, before you go too far, that you will just jot down a few priorities based off of our conversation today, and not just what I said, but the ideas that came to you because of you being present here. What are your top 3 priorities in video marketing moving forward? And then what is your commitment for next week? And what is your commitment for the next month? How are you going to get into action? Because the concepts and the ideas are great, but the actions are going to be better. So I would love for you to share in the chat box one of these 3 things. What are your top 3 video marketing strategies, or what's something that you're going to commit to doing in the next week as a result? Maybe it's equipment. Maybe it's going to maybe it's scheduling a batch of content. Maybe it's sitting down with your team and creating a video strategy if you don't have one. What is something that you're going to commit to doing in the next week? And I'd love for you to share it in the box so that we can cheer each other on. And also because I know that accountability increases when we share. So I'd love for you to share where you feel appropriate. And at the end here, I'll just leave this up as we close out, but we'd love for you to be involved in the We Build Utah campaign at the level that you feel is most appropriate for you and your organization. There's so many good things that are happening as a result of what we're doing. We love sharing the commitment and the solidarity in the industry and the way that it's expanding marketing efforts within our organization, but then also with industry partners and with members like you. You're welcome to use the We Build Utah hashtag. You can use the We Build Utah logo that is also available on the site. You're also welcome to integrate any pieces of the We Build Utah campaign at the level that you feel comfortable. We have an ambassador program that's going to be launching soon that will give you additional visibility within the offerings that the AGC has. So we hope that you'll watch for those details. And what that will look like is it's a program where you commit to jump in at a certain level, and it's not about money. It's about how you want to participate in the campaign. And then we will also be giving extra visibility to those organizations who want to be part of this message that's so much bigger than us. It's so much bigger than the AGC. It's much bigger than any of our organizations. It's what we're trying to do to share with the world and the community about the pride in the industry and how people can be involved. And so We'd love for you to be involved at the level that you feel comfortable. If you have any questions about the We Build Utah campaign, you can reach out to me at any time. And at the level that you feel like is appropriate for you and your organization as well. I'm going to put my email address in the chat box. Oh, that only goes to the host and the panelists. I'll just tell you what it is. It's michelle@speakmichelle.com. You're welcome to reach out to me if you have questions and about how we can support you in the campaign, but also so that you can grow and thrive as you grow and build within your own businesses. We're cheering you on. And again, if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. But thank you so much for participating. Thank you for your commitments that you've shared in the chat box. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do and how you grow and build your companies and your organizations through video.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate your time doing this webinar for us. If any of you have questions and you didn't quite catch Michelle's email, you can email the AGC or myself any questions that you have, and I'll get those passed along to Michelle. But yeah, thanks everyone for giving us your time today, and we will get the next one scheduled and invite sent out to all of you that participated today.